So our challenge to you, and you can, this isn't final word, you can have something after this and we might go longer. Our challenge to you is to be an organism and grow in that and stay away from being a parasite and being responsible for who you are as an individual and the way that you move in the world. When the first George Bush was elected, I don't know when that is, I think probably in the 90s or so, I said that if he gets elected for the second term, I'm going to move out of the U.S. I was one of those people. He didn't do it to second term. And I don't know if I would have. I doubt I would have, but I'm being fully honest. Then by the time his son, so then it was Clinton for 2 terms, and then his son went in, and then I had somebody say to me that same thing. If I go over there and I challenge them to be a more solid individual, and I go, who makes more decisions in your life? You or George Bush? You are Bill Clinton? You are Barack Obama? You are Donald Trump? Stay with that power. Yeah. Yes, they can do decisions to blow up the world, but it hasn't happened yet. Well, we don't know. Maybe in the past we got to this level and then they blew up the world. But why live in fear? Like when I think about stuff like that, I laugh. Oh, it looks like those guys are going to blow up the world. Wow. But I want to be hanging out, still doing my work, betting on me and betting on the people around me to do it. One of the things I want to go in is my voting process. When Obama was won the primary, that was the last time that I voted, and then when he was on the ballot to become president as the Democratic going against the Republican, I was sitting there with the ballot, and I had absentee ballot, and I couldn't physically vote. And then on that day, I came up with this philosophy that I vote for the people around me on an everyday basis. I'm not giving my power away every 2 years, every 4 years, not even for a moment. I'm not putting all that energy towards them. Oh, if Trump gets elected, life's going to be great. If Kamala gets elected, like any of that, I don't put any of my energy towards that. I am a sovereign individual, and I'm going to win no matter who's in office. And part of me winning is the people around me winning. Right. And even coming from a place that I'm not even defining what winning is. I know what it is for me, but I'm not going to define what it is for you. You ask for my advice, then I'll give you some things like that. But I'm not just being sovereign. I'm challenging the people around me to be sovereign. Right. That you to define what it is. Some people have so many theories about all these politicians, all these celebrities, of what they should do and everything, but they don't even know who they are.
For sure.
How can you tell other people what to do when you don't know who you are? I know who I am. She knows who she is. I'm evolving. Who I am is evolving, but I know who I am.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of inner work, a lot of testing what was going on inside of me in the real world, not just as a victim, being in victim mode and barking out orders to other people like a general. How you can't be a victim and a general at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So many thoughts are coming to my mind. When I was in a PhD program, I can leave that story for another day. But when I was in a PhD program, the focus and emphasis was on trauma and organizational systems. So we were thinking about this idea of like considering the colonial oppressive systems, how that can impact trauma, and then how that trauma then impacts the way that communities and societies are structured and built, and thinking about creating organizational systems, bigger systems that support people. And I started really kind of exploring this idea of, if we were to create a culture, a community, a society that could support the people, that's what they refer to as top-down change systems, right? And that's, I think most people kind of think about oh, how can we make society more functional, or, promote or address some of these issues like poverty and houselessness and so on and so forth. Pretty much people always orient their thoughts towards this top-down model. But what is true is that there are other models or approaches to creating change. Another one is called bottom-up, where the people, which would be grassroots projects, the people are the ones that create the system, and then it gets pushed up to the top, and then we have, larger systems like laws and all of that gets developed. One thing that I learned in this program, or during my time doing this program, was this idea of middle out systems. And so I think where I am now in my approach and my offerings and the way that I move is having a deeper value systems for grassroots and what it can offer, but also pairing that with middle out approaches that are using people or organizations, entities that have some power, some recognition with community, and can actually create a ripple effect of change. And what I will say to stand in support of being sovereign, seeking sovereignty, and creating systems of sovereignty is to think about, firstly, what talent, gift, what do you offer the world? Like, what's your secret sauce? What's your superpower? And really getting familiar with that. Because in order to really create change in the world, or to, stand in that power, we have to find what that is, find what that power is, and giving oneself time and space to really be with what that is, practicing what that is, and then utilizing the abundance of wealth that is produced. And I say wealth because wealth can come in many forms. It's not just financial wealth, it's also intellectual wealth, social wealth, so on and so forth. Use that wealth to build up others.
I was working on a project with this young guy, and at one point he totally went into negative mode, and he's like, you have no idea about what it's like with the negativity that my mom puts on me. And I go, yes, you do that to me at the meeting. What she does to you, you do to me at every meeting situation. I do hear that you have control over.